Hello, today I'm going to be covering a game against finpa. Um, Here's the end position. I won by checkmate at the end, so to spoil what happened. Okay, so we played a queen's gambit. He accepted it. This is normal book moves here, just developing. He plays knight to f6, which allows e5. He could try hopping to d5. I could exchange, and I would have some nice space here. That line would go a little bit like this if I chose to exchange here. Okay, I have some good space on the king side. Could maybe even try checking here with the bishop. But we didn't go down that line. Instead, he played his knight back. Now I keep my space. And he tries playing f5 here. There's a couple things you could try to do here. Some moves would be taking en passant, but you have to also look at your opponent's moves, and pawn moves always leave a weakness behind. So what did f5 leave behind? Left behind the e6 square. So here I can just take with the bishop, and he has to move the king out of the way, and all of his pieces are pinned. There's no development on the queen side. Hard to play, but I didn't see that move in the game, and I played queen b3, thinking next move I could take this pawn. I'm still able to take it, and now that I'm solid pawn up, I just want to exchange everything. And here I pushed d5. There's actually a lot of logic behind this. If he doesn't take, then I can play d6 and make that d pawn into a strong passer. And by forcing an exchange here, it stops my pawn from being backwards, because here my pawn is backwards, and by doing this, I'm getting rid of a weakness. Okay, it allows me to keep on exchanging. Here, maybe I could have just thought about exchanging rooks, but I played a3 trying to kick his knight. And then rook to c3, which I think is better for me because now I can recapture with the queen and have this file. Okay, oops. Sorry about that. Okay, I plays knight to c5, which is interesting, but I can just place queen to c2, and now the knight is pinned. Especially after he played queen to b5. So now I can just play b4. This rook's only defended once, and I can threaten to win the knight. I'm completely winning the knight now. He tries to get out of it with queen to a4, but I don't want to exchange queens yet. First I want to take the knight. Here the queen's hanging, so he can't play something like this, trapping my bishop because he loses queen. So he exchanges the queens, and now recapturing my rook gives me escape squares back here with my bishop. Here was another mistake. I should have played bishop to b2, guarding the a3 pawn, so that on c4 I'm not losing this guy. I still had a chance to save it here, but then he plays c3 and I might have to worry about his passed pawn. Now my plan is to just blockade this a pawn, bring my king to the center, bring a minor piece over here, maybe my knight, or my knight here, if he pushes, to take this pawn out. Here was another mistake by me, knight to d4, just hangs the h4 pawn. But he didn't see it. f3 was to stop the advance of the g pawn, and knight to c6 kind of wins the whole house, I think. Forking this passed pawn, forking the bishop. Okay, here I ran into some complications. I just continued trading here. I took on f6, and then his rook took on e6 with check. And I just blocked it with my bishop. But I think everything's okay here. I'm still a minor piece up. I should be winning. And then I played a bad move, which was rook to a2. Now his plan is just to play rook to e6 and pin my bishop. If I try to go back to guard, he's going to break his king over and eventually win my bishop. Just like that. Okay, I get my king out of the pin. Here I had to really calculate. If he chooses to capture, and I capture and his king captures, I need to have the opposition so that I can come in on and capture these pawns. So all that happens, and to get the opposition, I play king to c4. I think there's ways he can keep me out, like king to d6. Although, then I get this square. So for instance, or really he can even just play over. King to c4, king d6. Okay, and there's no way that I can get in, unfortunately. But that isn't what happened. Instead, I played king to f5, which allows me to keep on coming in. I have these squares. Tries g4, but all I have to play here is king to d5. I don't want to flinch on this side. If I take, he can just take, and then he will have the possibility of coming down here and taking my pawn. So king to d5, keeping him locked out, and he has to make a choice now. If he captures here, I just capture, and now it's his move, and he can't move to any of these three critical squares. So he would have to move away, and then my king is coming to e4, for instance. It's his move, and I'm just going to keep on coming in. And at that point, there's no way of holding on to this pawn, and I should be able to win. Pushes, same deal. That's what happened in the game. I had to waste a move. And it's important to look at your options here. If I move to d6, he's still blocked off from these squares. But he can play king to f6, which keeps me locked out. And I can play back, and we can keep on trying to go for those squares. It's not going to work. So here I have to play king to d4. It is the winning move. And now when he moves back here, and I'm just going to come to e4. Here I didn't want him to be able to come down through here, so I wanted to keep my king in control of these entry squares. I'm still in control of the f4 square, which I think is a good benefit. Here, if he tries to play king to g4, I'm just going to push until I make it, because he can't catch me ever. Now he's too far away for me to have to worry about the f4 square. So I'm just going to come up here if he tries to come here, block him out. And promote. Here, this is one of my favorite ways to play endgames with a queen. I just leave my opponents 2 squares to hop to, and bring my king up and just checkmate them. That's the easiest way for me. There you have it. So this is the position we ended in, and where we started in. Now this is the position where we ended in. So thanks for watching. Until next time.